Ladies and gentlemen, the grand showroom of the Las Vegas Hilton is proud to present the one, the only, Elvis!
You've been a really fantastic audience. Really beautiful audience. First picture that I ever made was called Love Me Tender. I'd like to sing it for you right now.
Valky, when I snap my fingers, you're going to fall asleep.
There are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story.
Let's don't let a good thing die.
Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of...
Get. I beat you to.
You didn't even let me finish the
No.
first word. Well, that's just not fair. That's just not right.
It's just not right.
Real. Fine. There, I did it. I'm Hot Toddy, that's Ms. Pengrino, and we tried. We tried to do this on our new camera.
We need more research.
We have a new camera that's going to make us look all cinematic and stuff. Yeah, show them the camera. Looks great.
Pretty.
I'm really excited about it, but nothing we have is compatible with it, so we're still doing it on the phone. So we're working on it.
Sorry, guys.
It's fine. We'll get to it.
We're trying.
But anyway, no, this is a fun episode because we just got done seeing Elvis song. Hunka Hunka Burnin Ollie, Jailhouse Rock.
Okay.
What the hell is even that?
No, but we saw it. It's the film's got Austin Butler as the Elvis.
He's a real good Elvis.
Yeah, he is a good Elvis. Probably the best Elvis impersonator that's ever existed. It also stars the Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker.
Snowman.
The snowman. Oh, snow jobs. He's
That was such a weird term.
he was just responsible for snow jobs. Yeah.
Shut up!
But anyway, yeah. So Colonel Tom Parker, bad guy. Elvis.
Good guy.
Well, yeah, and basically fell victim to Colonel Parker. But the movie was good. It was a solid film, and I honestly am surprised that I liked it as much as I thought.
Let's be real.
Oh, get
real.
real.
I don't know about you, but I thought this movie was gonna be kind of shitty.
Well, why?
I don't know. I feel like it was targeted to an older crowd.
Well, yeah. Obviously, the
And
Elvis fans are going to be more excited
like,
about it than we are.
I don't know. It just didn't. It wasn't something that I wanted to go see. And normally, biopics on musicians, I love, that's great, and I liked Elvis.
Elvis?
My brain kind of stopped.
It's a movie. So this is the biopic on Will Ferrell's character of Elvis.
Yeah.
That shit was ass.
Anyways, I liked Elvis as a singer. I like his songs, even though it was a little bit pre my age.
A little bit.
Just a little.
Many years before our time.
Years.
Now, again, you mentioned how much you like biopics because I immediately thought about Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, Elton John.
Rocket Man, Elton John, and so
I'm looking forward to the David Bowie one.
Right, that's like a legit documentary. It's not even a thing on him, but
so
yeah,
I'm super excited.
But
about
yeah,
it.
I'm with you, because I was never a big Elvis fan. I like some of his songs, but what I found interesting about the film is that I thought I knew the history of Elvis, and I did not. Clearly, I did not understand fully what went on because
I don't feel like any of us really knew.
Well, let's get right into it. What did you think of Elvis?
The movie was great.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. It was a little longer than expected.
2.5 hours, actually more than 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It almost was 3 hours.
We literally were like, we're gonna get out at 9. 9:30 comes around and we're still watching a movie.
To be fair, there's always trailers, but that takes up some of the time.
True, but
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
What did
a
you
lot.
think of the movie?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was almost like a musical because there were songs like every freaking 20 minutes.
It was not set up like Rocket Man though, because Rocket Man was a legit musical, and it was done. It was a musical biopic about Elton John's life. This was not like this is your typical
like
biopic.
A biopic with song.
And I really enjoyed it too. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Like you said, when I saw it was coming out, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so aimed at the old people.
That's what I thought. I was like, we're
wasn't
going to have to go because
even-
his parents are going to want to see.
No, they didn't want to see it. In the
They
beginning.
didn't either. Yeah.
No.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I thought that's what
My
we were
mom,
going,
my
but they
mom
were
was
not
against
excited.
it because she's like, I didn't care about Elvis when I was growing up. My dad didn't give two shits about Elvis either. So I was like, why are we gonna go? You know, why would we go see this?
Yeah.
And then the more that the trailer kept playing, and my mom started hearing word of mouth, and she's like, hey, let's all go see this movie. Because as you know, if you're a regular watcher of Get Real, the only reason why we go to the movies is because my parents want to go to the movies, and we end up seeing a lot of good movies.
We do. We try to go
see
ourselves.
we
but
see a lot of bad movies too, but I mean, we see a lot of movies because of them, because they always want to take us out to the movies.
They beat us to the punch faster than what we can get.
That's true. But you mentioned how good Austin Butler was as Elvis. I've never, like I said, I've never seen anybody perform as Elvis as best it. There are thousands upon thousands of Elvis impersonators out there. There's been so many since the man has died, and no one can really hold even the slightest bit of water to Austin Butler, who did a phenomenal job. Now, I could see him winning an Academy Award for that role because he did very well.
So good. They made him look so much like him too. Like I mean, I
that's
guess he just
a whole
kind of
nother
looks
thing.
like him in
He
general.
looks like him in general, and then they put that
But
makeup on him
the
and the
makeup,
hair.
yeah.
And it was perfect.
And his sound.
Yeah.
Is,
I will say some of the makeup I was a little mad on because Tom Hanks plays Colonel Tom Parker, and right at the beginning of the film, it's the day that Tom Parker died in '97. It was bad old age makeup
It's
on
bad,
Tom Hanks.
really
It was
bad
really
old age
bad
makeup, yeah.
old age makeup
that's
on Tom
probably
Hanks.
my biggest thing.
That's my biggest gripe. Probably.
Well, they also
yeah.
didn't do this is gonna sound terrible, but like fat makeup.
Well, they did a fat suit because Tom Parker was a fat guy. Yeah.
Right, but like.
And Tom Hanks, listen, Tom
It felt
Hanks.
like Tom Hanks's face.
It doesn't matter.
Fat fake body.
And that's that's another thing I was saying. It
Right.
doesn't matter. Tom Hanks is so good in biopics. He has played so many historical people from for the last few years. That's mostly what his movies are now. Is he plays historical people from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he plays now, and so I can't complain about that because that's just sort of his thing now. Is he plays historic people in his films.
True.
And so he played Colonel Tom Parker. I don't even know if he sounded like Colonel Tom Parker.
I don't know what that guy sounded like,
I've never
so.
heard Tom Parker speak.
Somebody
so
has a clip of that. Let us know. So we can...
Maybe I can look up a clip. Maybe we got something right here.
Hey babe, can you let the dogs out?
Yeah.
I did all the promotion, the outdoor advertising, and he did the show on the stage, and the fans made it possible.
There are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story.
But here's the thing about Elvis is getting back to is like, again, I didn't really know Elvis's story as much because I didn't know Colonel Parker was such a villain.
Such a bad, like he took everything.
He took so much advantage of Elvis. I always thought that Tom Parker was a legitimate agent and was really good to him and tried to keep him in line. That was where I thought this movie was going to be about. I was going to be like, okay, so we're just going to go see a movie of the demise of Elvis because Elvis destroyed himself.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Spoiler alert, if you don't know the story behind Elvis's life as a celebrity, Colonel Tom Parker destroyed him from beginning to end.
Pause. Elvis did make some poor decisions, drug and alcohol wise.
But Colonel Parker kind of pushed the drugs onto him.
Very true. It's kind of we were talking about this, like a Michael Jackson kind of thing.
Right.
Where they had like a doctor on call all of the time. That doctor, I'm sure he was a legitimate doctor, but was just, he's more like those pain clinic doctors. Will do anything.
I was about to say, you know what he
for
is?
$1.
He's a long, you know what he is? He's a long hair doctor. Now, I don't want to insult. I don't want to insult any doctors out there that may have long hair, but you can always tell if a celebrity's doctor is a long hair doctor. You're probably not going to trust him. Donald Trump's doctor was a long-haired doctor and said he was the healthiest president that had ever lived.
Oh, that's a lie.
And, listen, say what you want about Trump or say what you want about Biden, but I mean, even though he fell off the bike, at least Biden's out there riding a bike. You know what I'm saying? I never saw Trump ride a bike, and yet his long-haired doctor was saying, "Hey, he's super healthy.
He could totally ride a bike."
So that's the point I'm trying to. When you got a long-haired doctor, chances are he's up to no good. But you're right. It's very much like Elvis, or very much like Michael Jackson. Elvis' story is that his celebrity got so out of control that he really didn't know how to handle it, and his inner circle said, "Oh, we'll handle it for you," and then just made things 10 times worse.
And it's really sad because, like, I did not realize how many people were just, like, mooching off of him. It wasn't really just what Colonel Sanders? What?
Colonel, he calls him Colonel Sanders.
He does call him Colonel Sanders, so, like, my brain just kind of...
Parker.
Just
Colonel think Parker. Of Monica's dog.
Parker.
Yeah. Good. My sister.
But, like, everybody was, like, legit mooching off of him. His father, his bandmates, his friends. The only one who didn't care if he had money was his mom and his wife. And
when he got sent off to the service, it basically killed his mother. And now again, and I'm going to talk more about this as we get deeper into the conversation here. But movies take advantage of situations and make them more dramatic than what they were. She didn't really die like the way she died in the movie. That was not how it happened. But she did get sick after.
Heartbreak.
It was heartbreak, and it really did. Booze. It really crushed her, and booze. It really crushed her when he got sent off to the service, and when his celebrity was basically being pushed down because of the don't do none of that hip stuff.
Yeah, nobody wanted the hips.
None of that gyrating Elvis the pelvis. They didn't want that back in the 50s.
Don't even wiggle a finger.
That was too risque. back then. But yeah,
and Colonel Parker was the one who sent him that. That was the deal that he made. Like, hey,
if you mess up, you're going to get sent overseas.
Not even if you mess up, like, we're gonna do it.
Well, no, it was if you mess up, we have to do that to clear your image. If he was the new Elvis, which again, this is all laid out in the movie, but if you're an Elvis historian, you know they tried to make him be the new Elvis after everybody got upset about the pelvis situation. If he didn't stick to the new Elvis, he was going to get sent off because it would look better, and that's what they did. But yeah, no, like, I didn't know the whole story, so I didn't know that Elvis was just getting mooched off of Colonel, or that Colonel Parker was mooching off of him and making him just miserable,
like taking way over half.
And I didn't know. I didn't know he faced criminal charges after Elvis's death.
Because so the thing is here too, I did not realize. Like, I guess maybe I should have. I don't know that he was such like a big forefront in whole like segregation and
Elvis. That he was
because that's kind of why he was getting in trouble. He was mixing.
This is
mixing sounds of white and black.
If you know me and Ms. Pengrino, you know that we are very progressive. We would, I guess, basically be a part of the woke generation, even though some of the woke people can get on my nerves. But we are a part of the progressive movement and everything. Yeah. But a lot of people on our side of the table complain about Elvis because they think that Elvis was taking stuff away from black artists and that he was racist for doing that, and he was racist for doing it. And it's like, no, this is where I have to defend Elvis a little bit.
He's trying to bring it into the light.
He performed music that he grew up with. Because he grew up in Memphis, and Memphis to this day is a predominantly black city.
Well, he grew up because his father, spoilers, whatever, or if you know the story, you know the story. His father went to jail. Mm-hmm. His mother had no option but to get a white house in a black neighborhood is basically what they said in the movie.
Right. But anyway, he
So
grew.
he did. He grew up.
He grew up listening to this music, and he wanted to bring it to the forefront. He recorded it himself. It just so happens he had a lot of talent, and so people in the era that it was the 50s, people are going to tend to listen to a white artist more than they are a black artist, and so that's why he would record songs from other artists, and they would become more popular than what the black artist did. But he didn't do it out of malice. He just did it because that's what he knew, and when he did it that way, it was because it was, that's what Elvis is known for, is gospel, country, southern rock, and rock and roll, the original rock and roll. So
kind of jazz rock and roll.
Sort of, and so he just did what he knew. He did what he grew up with and what he could create, and that's why he is as popular as he is. So if you ever hear about Elvis being racist, Elvis was not racist. Colonel Parker, super racist.
Super racist.
He was horrible, and again, that he had a bad influence and hold on Elvis during his lifetime. So. But yeah, so I defend Elvis. I do wish that, and they did. Some of them did. I wish that the black artists that he took music from those days were to get more of a presence and credit in this day and age. And like I said, some of them have, but some of them haven't. So I hope that they do, because their versions are awesome as well, and they are the originators.
None of them really seem to have a problem with Elvis.
Right. They didn't, and they were the originators of the music. So, I do hope that they get the credit that they deserve. But you can't blame Elvis, because Elvis was doing his thing. Rant over. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't know the whole story, and so my thought process, again, maybe I didn't have said this earlier, I can't remember, but I thought this movie was going to be about the self-destructing of Elvis, and poor Tom Parker watching it happen unfold in front of him. He's like, and I thought it was going to be like, I made him a star, but he tore it all down. But no, this was about how basically Tom Parker was a criminal and did criminalistic things for 20 years.
It's funny because Tom Parker is kind of really the narrator of this movie. Mm-hmm. So he's basically telling you,
well, because
I robbed him, but I didn't rob him. I made him.
I robbed him, but it was okay because I created him.
Because I created him. Because we were similar.
We were similar, and But I thought the story was told perfectly. Perfectly. I mean, there's plenty of flaws in it. Like I said, they take liberty in these films. They take advantage.
It's a movie.
Again, spoiler alert. And in one of his Las Vegas concerts, Elvis gets super high on drugs and calls out his manager and fires him on stage. You remember that scene? And yells at him. It's a very awkward, embarrassing thing. That never happened. That was not real. The real Elvis would never lose his control during a concert and yell at people. He was always even if he was high on drugs or about to fall asleep, he loved his fans and he loved performing, and the last thing he would ever do was ruin a performance. So
that is definitely something
that was not
pushed,
real.
Was that did play a little bit into his ability to be fooled, is that he just loved the fans and he wanted to do anything. Oh, and she died.
Team's the cat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay! Because I mean, I feel like even Priscilla, was like, you love the fans, you love the love from the fans more than you do me. And
that's basically the truth. And that's the thing is, but
lived and died for this.
And as sad as that is, I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, he just loved his fans and he wanted to be there for his fans. And Colonel Parker wouldn't let him. Sometimes she felt like she was the buffer between them, and he was trying to get around the buffer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, she was trying forever to get him to leave Parker. And she wanted to take care of him and take him away from and give him what he wanted. That's really more what she was trying to do. And he made all the wrong decisions. And that was what was so fascinating, was that it was like a toxic love affair. Was that he would fire him and bring him back, and he would tell him to leave and bring him back. And because like a toxic narcissistic person, he would find a way to make him come back, make him want to come back, make him feel like he couldn't live without him. Yeah. Basically, he made him feel like he was the only one who could create these magical shows happen for him, for his fans. Yeah. So Parker made it seem like, if you're not with me, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do for your fans. Yeah. which was bullcrap.
Yeah,
straight up bullcrap.
I think Elvis would have lived on if he wasn't.
Oh, for sure.
Under the guy, because that was one of the most powerful lines of the movie. Tom Hanks, as Parker, says, a lot of people say his heart killed him. A lot of people say it was the drugs. A lot of people say I killed him, and really, it was all him. The drugs, the unhealthy lifestyle, all of it was Colonel Parker. So I would agree that really, at the end of the day, he had blood on his hands for what he had done.
I never knew that Elvis never made it out of the country.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Again, this is part of the story I didn't know.
Yeah.
Was that he wanted to go on a world
so
tour.
Bad.
Never had a world tour, and so I thought he at some point had a world tour. I just assumed. But
well, he had the video version.
Right.
Was like the first one to have this video.
Like via satellite
show.
And of course, everybody remembers that show. It was a huge show.
Right.
Well, everybody back then remembers that show because it was a huge event. It was a huge event. It was like the first pay-per-view, the first streaming thing. You know, it was enormous. It was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that was the best he could do, and it was all because of Tom Parker. So you know, it's a sad tale, but like I said, it was told in a very good way. Certain liberties taken here and there.
Again,
made
it's a movie.
Made it kind of fakey for me, but yeah, it's a movie.
You're gonna have some liberties taken.
There was a couple things that wasn't in the film that frustrated me. There wasn't the scene where Elvis was living in Forrest Gump's boarding house and he learned how to dance by watching Forrest Gump dance. We didn't see that scene. That was the thing. That's a joke. Because
I was like, what are you talking about?
Did you ever see Forrest Gump?
Yes.
So you remember the scene in Forrest Gump when he's a little kid, he's got the braces on, and there's this silhouetted figure in the background playing the guitar, and he starts dancing with his legs in the brace, but he can't dance very well because so he starts really just gyrating, and then it comes to find out that person was Elvis that was living with him, and he learned how to dance by watching Forrest Gump as a kid, and that's the whole point of the Forrest Gump movie is like he always had all this influence on people, you know, but
I don't remember the part of the movie.
But Forrest Gump is a fictional character,
right?
Ironically played by Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has so much. Tom Hanks has so much power over Elvis. How did this happen? Who unleashed?
Which he actually got his gyrating and all that from it was a God-given gift.
Who unleashed Tom Hanks into the world? That's the new Tom Hanks conspiracy theory. He had all this power over Elvis.
Bitch, are you for real?
Also, there was no scene of Elvis enjoying his signature favorite meal, the peanut butter and banana sandwich. There was not one scene of him enjoying a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I was a little upset about that. We needed to see that at least.
I don't think he really ate any food.
No, I mean, that was it. No, through the movie. No, in reality, he didn't eat that much food either. It was peanut butter banana sandwiches all the time. Oh. And I'm just upset that there was not one scene. Like, there could have been a scene where he and Colonel Parker were having a discussion, and the scene starts with the camera on him putting peanut butter on the bread, and he breaks out the banana, and he puts it in the pan. Like, that could have been the whole thing, but they didn't do that. So if you're looking for a peanut butter banana sandwich scene, it's not in there.
But you can enjoy a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
And watch the movie, yeah. But, you know, that's funny because, you know, the movie ends by it saying that he's like the highest selling artist of all time. I also believe he's the most parodied artist of all time.
Oh. I would say.
Because there's so many Elvis impersonators, like I said. And, of course, at the beginning of this episode, you saw from this show, one of my favorite shows, Perfect Strangers, when Balky, when Balky is hypnoptized, he thinks he's Elvis, and he does a great Elvis impersonation.
He does do.
And we even did it on the Smokin Hot Toddcast, where Ollie thinks he's Elvis, and we pay homage to that particular episode of Perfect Strangers, and so actually that's how we're going to end this episode. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. But yeah, everybody loves Elvis.
My cousin used to be obsessed with him. Mm-hmm. Granted, she's older.
Well, sure, yeah.
She's like your parents' age.
Yeah.
So, but that was her favorite, man.
Yeah. A friend of my mom's.
Wonderful.
Friend of my mom's was a huge fan of his, and saw him when he came to Knoxville. He came to Knoxville on
I do have to say, I would
big tour.
Loved to have been there and be able to see him.
Elvis is one of those artists that, even if you're not a fan, you know all the hits. You know all the songs.
Hound dog.
And you know all the, and you know that he brought it when he came out on stage. It was a great show. So I mean, you even if you weren't an Elvis fan, you were gonna go see Elvis because Elvis
gonna love that show.
Was super entertaining till his dying day. Even when he was all sick and just looking bad, he still put on a damn good show.
Well, that's what they did make that comment, that even on his last show, last time he ever sang, he still belted it like nothing was wrong.
Yeah.
That was his passion. And
that's right.
What he did.
That's right. And Priscilla went on to be an actress herself. She was in one of my favorite film franchises, the Naked Gun franchise, Leslie Nielsen. I love those movies.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, ironically, in the second movie, there's a scene where she and Leslie Nielsen recreate the pottery making scene from Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah. But that song, that's an Elvis song. Or Elvis performed it a lot. I don't know if it was his song, but that was like one of his. You know what song I'm talking about, don't you?
I'm trying to think, but it's just not coming to me right now.
That song.
My darling.
That one, yeah. I don't know if that was really his, but I know he performed it. He performed it. That's the last. Stop. That was the last. Stop. I get it. You know it now. Okay. That in the last scene of the movie, he performs it.
I think he actually wrote that one.
Did he write it? Well, see, that's just.
I mean, it seemed like in the movie that he did.
I can't remember. Well, it was in the movie, but he performed a lot of songs he didn't write. But anyway, yeah, that's bitter irony that they're doing that to that song because that's Priscilla's ex-husband. Haha.
It's so sad because she loved him.
She did.
To the end. Like, she never stopped loving him.
It's true. It's true. Have you ever seen Lisa Marie Presley as an adult?
I haven't.
It's freaky. She's a female Elvis. Her face is. She's got that brooding look. You know that look right there. That he always had.
You look like you're drugged up.
That's
well, yeah. Never mind.
What does he have?
Bro, Miss Pengrino.
Freaking joke on
Would you? No, I said so.
I know, but
would you recommend Elvis?
Oh, absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah, for and not just for older people. I mean, obviously, for older people, it's going to be like nostalgia kind of purposes to know that story, to relive that story if they lived it. But for like our age, for maybe even some younger people who are into like music, I just think it's a really good movie.
Go see Elvis. It's a great movie. Lots of fun to unpack there. And lots of sadness, and you live the story. That's a movie I'm gonna own on Blu-ray. I don't do that unless it's a movie I love, and I really loved it. So I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray. So
what's so sad? I also didn't realize he died at 42.
42. Oh yeah, super young.
I knew he died young, but I didn't know like how young.
Super young, yeah.
So sad.
That's the thing.
Damn you, Colonel Parker.
And he looked like he'd aged about 50, 60 years in those 42 years. So it's a sad fact. But go see Elvis.
Definitely.
Oh.
The greatest show on earth.
Elvis has left the building.
And now we'll end this episode. As promised, we'll end this episode. At the beginning of the episode, you saw the Perfect Strangers skit or scene where Balky thinks he's Elvis. We are now, here's where we pay homage to that scene on the Smokin Hot Toddcast. We did this 3-4 years ago where Miss Pengrino's character accidentally hypnotizes Ollie into making him think he's Elvis, and then we pay homage to that very scene with him. You don't get to see anything, you just listen to it. But here it is. And we'll see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand showroom of the Las Vegas Hilton is proud to present the one, the only, Elvis!
Thank you. Thank you very much. You've been a fantastic audience, all of you. I love you dearly. You know, one of my biggest hits was a little song I like to call Jailhouse Rock, and I'd like to sing it for you right now.
Oh, damn, Doc!
Best way to handle it. Now, Ollie, when I snap my fingers, you will no longer be Elvis. You will be back to your normal self.
debilitating headache. Station! Oh.
Ollie? Is it you? Is it really you?
Well, who the hell else would it be? I see sky and trees and buildings. I see myself wearing an extremely flamboyant jumpsuit. Why am I wearing a jumpsuit? And what did I do to my hair? This is ridiculous. Cats and dogs don't have butt cheeks.
Yep, he's back.
Doctor, what are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to stop by and check in on you. And clearly you're doing fine.
Baskets, thanks!
My pleasure. Well, now that everything's back to normal, I'm gonna skedaddle. Bunch my shorts.
Bye!
Well, Ollie, I guess all's well that ends well, huh?
Huh?
Aight then. This bitch heavy! Yee!
Oh!
These nuts, bitch.